Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Force Chatter. I'm here with Tim, no Lou, no Tom. And you know what? We accidentally wore matching shirts. Kind of.
We did.
Kind of. Not entirely, kind of. But yours is a little cooler than mine. Why don't you tell me why yours is cooler than mine?
Well, because mine happens to be the Force Chatter logo.
Right.
You know.
That is very true, which you can get, by the way, by going to store.randomchatter.com. And you can get one for yourself. And it doesn't have to be blue like that. You can get a black background, gray, white, green, red, whatever floats your boat.
But clearly tonight is Blue Night.
It's Blue Night. We're feeling very blue because there's not a lot of Star Wars news yet again. Man, I don't know what's going on. Well, we don't know what's going on because nobody tells us because there's nothing going on.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure that pretty soon Lucasfilm is going to tell us that they dropped a project that they never told us about. Because that's how they roll.
I mean, hey, it would be news. I wouldn't complain. But, there is something that I heard that's a rumor this week. Don't let me forget to get to it. We'll get to it after the main story here. We're going to talk a little bit about the Bad Batch. It's Kenobi news. Well, it's Kenobi rumors. I don't think it's a spoiler. Some people might take it that way, so we'll save it to the end. But we did get a little tiny bit of news, and I don't know how I feel about it. But we have a writer for the Rogue Squadron film, right?
Yeah, we do. Matthew Robinson. Who? Yeah, Matthew Robinson.
Matt. Good old Matt.
We had to look him up a little bit, and it's funny because the article that I first pulled this from, which was comingsoon.net, said, "Oh well, he was the writer for The Invention of Lying." Never heard of it.
I have. Wasn't it the one with oh my gosh, why can't I remember his name? I was right on the tip of my tongue. The guy that created The Office, the British version. Comedian.
Yeah.
God, we suck.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, as soon as we hit stop, I'll be like, how did I miss that? Yeah. So anyway.
You asked me, and I can never remember names.
Ricky Gervais.
So, yes,
Invention of Lying, I think, had Ricky Gervais. If it's the movie I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay.
And it was
then Dora and the Lost City of Gold, which I think was reasonably well received for its target audience.
I saw it.
I'm not. So
for its target audience, it was okay.
But I think there's some saving grace here, some bit of encouragement. He is writing the sequel to Edge of Tomorrow.
Okay.
Or Live, Die, Repeat, or whatever you want to call it, which apparently I even looked it up a bit. They're not even sure what they want to call the sequel because they couldn't agree on what they were going to call the first movie. So, okay. And then
if it's a sequel, can they call it Live, Die, Repeat, Repeat?
That is one of
You're kidding me.
The options.
You're kidding me.
No. You didn't see that?
No,
really?
I was making a joke, a bad one.
That is actually one of the options on the table is Live, Die, Repeat, Repeat.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
No.
It is.
It may be.
You can't stop it, Eric.
But I'm just saying, filmmakers out there, no. Don't do that.
He's all, which I didn't know there.
Uh-oh. One of us is getting laggy.
Remake. I'm cool with it.
Oh, now you're back. Now you're okay. You're back.
I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. Okay, so Little Shop of Horrors. This guy's doing the remake of it. The original movie, I thought it was fun. Yeah. I think it'd be cool to kind of bring it into present day for folks. It's not like one of those things that is that iconic where people are like, oh my God, no, you have to leave it alone. I mean, I know it does have a bit of a cult following, but I think it's something also that can be kind of refreshed a little bit for a new audience.
Here's the problem, though.
So
my son's been visiting, so we've been talking a lot about movies and I forget what franchise it was that came up. I think it was the G.I. Joe franchise because somehow we ended up watching G.I. Joe, which the original 80s cartoon, which spawned all kinds of interesting questions, not the least of which was, why is nobody hitting anything? Yeah.
Joe.
So he was talking about, the Snake Eyes movie is going to do awesome. And then people like the other ones again. I'm like, no. That's not how this works. So I was explaining to him how you have your target audience. And if you have a fandom already established, say Little Shop of Horrors, if the other people don't care and aren't really fans, the people who are fans, if you alienate them, that's your most guaranteed source of revenue for that film. Like, those are the people you don't want to piss off. And then you want to additionally bring in more. Little Shop of Horrors. I can't imagine finding someone for the main character better than Rick Moranis. I don't know who did the voice for the plant. And I don't remember the actress who played the girlfriend, though. She was perfectly cast in the role. Steve Martin is a dentist. You can't, like, there's so many things there that worked so perfectly, and it's going to inevitably be compared to that. I don't know. So, and here's the other thing, though, to get back to your point about, it's promising. He's doing Live, Die, Repeat, and he's doing more horrors. Okay, he got signed on to those. Maybe he was really lucky. Maybe his brother-in-law knows someone at the studio. Like, no offense to this guy. Seriously, no offense to this guy. I'm not trying to diss him, but has he earned those movies? Now, maybe they know something that we don't. And so again, I'm not trying to be negative here, but what I'm trying to say is, to me, that's not necessarily comforting, because that just proves that he was able to get bigger projects. But the stuff that he's done so far that we can look at, I mean, Dora and Lost City of Gold was okay. Even for that demographic, it wasn't spectacular. It was okay. And then what was the other thing he did? Oh, The Invention of Lying. I think I saw it.
Yeah.
And it was okay.
What I'll offer up, though, is consider that a lot of Marvel films have been getting writers which are considerably lesser known.
True.
And they're getting a lot of studio support. And I think in a lot of cases, what you're seeing is these people are the head writers, yet they have a small army behind them.
True.
And I think that's really a lot of the situation here. We know that Patty Jenkins already has a vision for what this movie is going to be. She's a very involved director. So, I think that she's probably one of those directors who probably doesn't write enough to get a co-writing credit, but she is probably considerably involved in the development of that. And it comes down to, especially with these big franchises, that if it's done properly, they should be given the proper support. It shouldn't completely fall on someone's shoulders. And, it's not so much what it was in the past, where it was like, oh, hey, here's one writer and they're doing their thing. And that's it. Now it seems to be much more of a team sport. There's still some products out there that are, single writer kind of projects. But I think that's starting to go a little bit to the wayside. And I think we're also seeing some blurring to an extent, between film and what we have out there streaming. And traditionally, TV series have always had a writer's room. They have multiple writers because it's an ongoing thing. You have to pitch a lot of ideas. You have, weekly episodes or whatever. So there's so much going on. And I think that particularly for the studios who are doing both right now, I think that they're kind of learning from that and recognizing that there's some advantage to that. So, hey, let's come together a little bit. Let's throw some things at the wall, see what sticks, and then develop something from there and storyboard it, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm hoping that's what the case is. And again, certainly, not dissing Matthew Robinson in this, because I really don't know much about his writing background at all. Maybe he does need the help. Maybe he doesn't. No idea. Like you said, I mean, Edge of Tomorrow 2, Little Shop of Horrors, and a Star Wars movie. That's
I mean, he's got his stuff lined up. Yeah, I mean, dude's got to be partying right now. And I'm happy for him. Again, listen, I'm not saying he's no good. What I'm saying is I don't know. I don't know. We don't know. And I hope that this works out great. I hope that it turns out that he's got a good vision for this. And I know Patty Jenkins is going to be very involved in the direction of all of that. So I'm not too worried, but I'm also not excited either. Like, I saw the news and I looked at what he did and I'm like, okay, I guess we wait and see.
Yeah.
So, but regardless, we have a writer, we have a director, we have a tentative title. We have some idea of what it includes. Like, it's not titled something like, Star Wars, The Enemy Within. Because, I mean, that could mean anything at all. But, Rogue Squadron, it means we're going to have X-Wings. X-Wings, A-Wings, B-Wings, and bait. Just Y-Wings.
This would be Y-Wings.
Really, Y. So adequately named Y.
You're only getting away with this because Tom isn't here.
Fair enough. I'll take it while I can. All right. So yeah, I'll come back to the Kenobi thing. I don't want to mention it too soon in the episode. What do you think of the Bad Batch recently? Now, we are going to spoil the last couple of episodes. Probably not spoil this last one, but we're going to refer to a character that's popped up over the last 2 episodes of the Bad Batch as of what is today, June 27th.
Yep.
So skip ahead a little bit if you don't want to know who shows up. It's not that big a spoiler. It's not that big a thing. But Cad Bane, thoughts?
Yeah. I'm glad to see him back. I appreciate. Obviously, I like Fennec Shand. I think it's very realistic, and especially given kind of this political intrigue now among the cloners.
The Kaminoans?
Those people. Kaminoans, thank you. Again, names. Yeah. Names are yeah. So you've got this whole kind of political thing. You've got opposing factions now within the leadership of Kamino, and it totally makes sense. I mean, I don't envision the Kaminoans as being brave warriors. They, especially being cloners, basically the entire being for them is fighting by proxy.
Well, yeah, they're no dummies.
So I think this whole we're going to get a bounty hunter to do this. Well, I don't want you to do that. So I'm going to get my own bounty hunter who's going to kick your bounty hunter's ass. And, so it totally makes sense. And I like it. And it makes the series more fun. It's good. It's good. I've been liking how it's unfolding. We got Rex a few episodes ago. We're going to come back to Rex very clearly. They did do a kind of a mid-season trailer of sorts.
Yeah.
Because we are at the middle of the season. And we did see a new Rex scene in there. Just a small snippet, half a second. If you blinked, it was gone kind of thing. But, we know he is coming back in it, which I think everyone pretty much guessed anyway. And obviously this whole unveiling of who Omega is and what it means. I mean, I think to some extent, it gave the reveal that she is basically a first generation clone of Jango. Although obviously, clearly they changed the gender,
which is fine.
So it's not a story wise, that's totally fine. Clones typically would be the same gender, I would think, because you're working with exactly the same DNA.
But the thing is, you are changing some of the DNA. Like, you have to mess with the DNA in order to accelerate the growth and things like that, right? So True. Why not just, change a chromosome and, there you go.
Yeah.
It is interesting, though. I mean, she's basically Boba Fett's sister in a more specific way than we realize. I mean, we could kind of assume that anyway, but this was confirmation of it. And it is interesting, too.
Yeah.
You've got the Empire hunting the Bad Batch, and then you've got a bounty hunter, a good one, hunting Omega. And then you have a bounty hunter, another good one, hunting Omega. And then you've got the Bad Batch working for someone who doesn't have their best interest in heart. There's a lot going on there. There are a lot of different stakes. And I like the fact that they're kind of getting hit from a bunch of different angles. It's kind of keeping them on their toes. And the last 2 episodes especially, I think, really conveyed that really well. And I like the fact that they brought Cad Bane back as the other bounty hunter. I don't know. I'd have to say these last 2 episodes, probably my favorites so far of the series. Like, I really think that they're accelerating the overall story, and we're getting to see a little bit more of, Crosshair being foreshadowed for his return. And I'm
absolutely.
I mean, I say foreshadow. He was active in the episode, but I mean, we know there's going to be. Yeah, I'm liking it.
And with Omega, I gotta say, early on, she just, like, I wasn't connecting with the character. She kind of bothered me. It was like someone put a leash on that kid, and like, because she keeps wandering off and no one knows what the heck she's doing and all that kind of stuff. But she has definitely grown on me. I like her. I like the story arc that they've given her. I'm very intrigued. I want to know where she's going to go in the storyline. Like, I'm now very invested in this. And, it's animated Star Wars, so I really doubt they're going to kill her off. So I want to know what's going to happen with her in the future now. She has this exposure to these seriously badass people, and she's learning from them. She's learning tactics. She's learning weapons. She's learning all this other stuff. And obviously she is still just learning, and she is still just a kid. So she is not always able to, completely defend herself or whatever, but she's showing that she's smart and she is able to solve problems and figure things out. And I really like that.
She is much less annoying in these last couple of episodes than she had been previously. I will definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I also, I mean, kind of simply basing it in reality with kids being kids, that early on you put them into a situation that's completely new and different to them, and they are going to ask questions, and they are going to make mistakes, pretty much just like any adult too, except they don't have kind of the wisdom to draw on to minimize or mitigate some of those mistakes. So, she had to kind of figure herself out within the context of the story, and we went along for that ride, and I'm totally fine with it. So yeah, I'd like to see what's going to happen. Obviously, I'd also like to see what's going to happen with Clone Force 99. Is as far as we know, this is it. There's not going to be another season of this. They're going to do this run, and then we have these characters in certain places in a certain time, and are we ever going to see them again?
Yeah, we will. I mean, it's
some
Filoni,
of them at least, yeah.
10 years down the road, there'll be Bad Batch season 2, and it'll happen somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Filoni likes his characters, which I don't blame him.
Yeah.
He develops some really cool and interesting characters. And obviously he's in a position of authority to say, I'm going to bring these characters back. Okay. No one really argues with him. So,
yeah,
it all works out.
Yeah. I agree. I think that this series is going to be, I don't know. I think that by the time we get to the end of the series, it's going to have been fulfilling. It will have a good closing to it, I hope. It seems to be these typically get wrapped up fairly well.
Yeah. And I want something that gives us closure on a lot of things, but still leaves doors open where we're like, ooh, something could happen here. This character encountered someone at the end, which, like, holy crap, like Omega meets Mon Mothma. What does that mean? Oh my God, I don't know. Tell me, I have to know. Well, give us some of this. Or Omega ends up hanging out with Boba Fett at the end. Holy crap! Like, what happens there?
I think that too.
Does that mean she's going to show up in the the Boba Fett series?
That's my opinion. Is that because they're introducing Omega as so young that, given the timeline, she can show up in any number of things in the future. I mean, I like the idea of the spin-offs and the cross-pollination of the series. And
and we know that Fennec Shand is going to be in that series.
And we've already seen her. And the age is perfect. So they've created a character that now, in the Disney Plus television realm at the moment, in that little pocket of the universe, there are all kinds of different ways in which they can use her. Whatever animated series they do, they can bring her back in an episode of The Mandalorian or Ahsoka or the Book of Boba Fett. They can throw her anywhere.
Totally.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that this is going to be maybe the last we see of the Bad Batch for a while. I don't think it's going to be the last we see of Echo. And I still think we'll get Rex at some point live action before too long.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, they've obviously made a lot of intersections with Rex. That I do think we are going to continue seeing.
I mean, it's going to be hard to get the actor on contract, I think, to play. Okay, I don't know if anybody got that joke or not. That was pretty lame, but yeah. Moving on.
I do want to point out, Joe in the chat is wondering if we're going to get Boba in the Bad Batch.
I don't think I want to.
I think there's a strong possibility for it. I mean, we did have that unfinished footage of a Clone Wars episode of that standoff between young Boba Fett, like teenage kind of Boba Fett, and Cad Bane.
That's fair. Okay.
Does this link up with it? Are they going to basically redo that? Because I don't think that the unfinished episode was canonical in any way. So are they going to like write this into it where Boba Fett comes in and somehow, somewhere, maybe one of the Kaminoans says, "Hey, dude, that's your sister. Might want to save her." And then that's how the whole thing. I don't know.
We'll see. I don't want to see a lot of Boba Fett in this, only because if this is the only season we're getting of the Bad Batch, they've got a lot of stuff they're introducing that they have to figure out a way to wrap up. They've got the involvement of the Empire. They've got some kind of backstabbing going on between the Kaminoans. What do you do with Echo? What's the final disposition of the Bad Batch themselves, etc.? The more you throw in the mix, the more muddy things get.
True.
I don't know. It would not surprise me if we do see that confrontation, but it also would not surprise me at all. And I think it'd be the wiser choice if we don't. In fact, what I would rather see instead is some sort of a showdown, a variation of that pushed further in the timeline and show up in the Book of Boba Fett. Live action Cad Bane.
Oh, I'd totally be down with that.
So, all right. What else do we have in the news? I think you mentioned something about a Lego something. By the way, before we go, hold on. So Father's Day was last weekend. Yeah, finally got it.
Speaking of Lego,
my Boba Fett nice. Lego, well, not bust, but the helmet thing. Yeah. I didn't realize that Lego also makes an Iron Man one, a Batman one.
A
Venom
one.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it's a pretty cool line. They're nice.
I got this, a 9x9x9 Rubik's Cube. Those were my 2 Father's Day presents. Yeah. So
how many times have you solved the Rubik's Cube?
Yeah. You have to go slow or the pieces will pop out because they're tiny little pieces because it's 9 across, but yeah. So anyway, Lego.
So we did have yesterday afternoon, we had Lego Con, and this is something they've been promoting for about a month or so. First of all, I gotta say, basically what it came down to, and I didn't watch it live, I read about it afterwards. It was 90 minutes long. It was an hour and a half long. That is not like a convention. I would have expected something if they did.
Maybe when they said con,
hours,
maybe they meant not con like convention, but they're conning you into thinking.
Quite possibly. Yeah. So we. It was 90 minutes. It wasn't all that fantastic, to be completely honest. They didn't cover all of their properties. They did cover Star Wars. They announced 3 sets that we already knew about, that we've already seen pictures of. That's the Imperial Light Cruiser for Mandalorian, the Slave One for Mandalorian, and the Imperial Marauder from Mandalorian. The only news that we got out of this relative to those sets was an August 1 release date, which we didn't have before. Okay. All we knew is that it was going to be summer of this year. So it kind of a letdown, to be completely honest. The only other big news was another Harry Potter set that they came out with. And beyond that, there really wasn't a whole heck of a lot. I don't even think there was anything Marvel related. There was nothing new Star Wars beyond these 3 sets. So,
well, August 1st. There you go. I guess. That
light cruiser is an awesome looking build.
It looks good. It looks very good.
That's Moff Gideon's
I'm a little
cruiser.
bummed out because Amazon Day was this past week. I realized,
AKA Prime Day.
Yeah. Which is actually 2 days. So it's kind of like Mike's Movie Minute. But you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they hook you in with the hope that there's going to be something, with impact, but short duration. And no,
he just
rambles on for a long time. Yeah.
So the Razor Crest, normally what, $129?
I think so.
I caught just barely too late the fact that they had it for $77. Oh, then there was a wait list, and the wait list was full. Yeah.
Wow.
So didn't get that, but that's okay. Would have been nice. We won't be seeing that in the second season or the third season of The Mandalorian anyway. So I guess, Razor Crest, RIP. Anything else before we get to Kenobi rumors?
The only other thing that we have is really, it's one of those interesting things that really isn't news, but it ends up in the news. And then the irony is that we still end up talking about it, even though it's not news. Emilia Clarke was being interviewed.
News, maybe we'd have things to talk about that.
Yeah. True. She was asked hey, are you going back to Star Wars? Have you heard anything? Her answer was no, but I'd like to. But no, I haven't heard anything. She said she has some, thoughts and ideas on what they might do with her character. So do we. This is obviously a character that we'd love to see come back. I would love
to see Kira come back. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Kira was a really intriguing character, obviously, where she ended up at the end of Solo was really, really interesting, really intriguing. They opened a lot of doors there for stuff they could do. I mean, I preferably like to see something live action, but they could do something animated. I mean, there's all sorts of different ideas, but preferably live action, because I think we'd like to see Emilia Clarke come back. It kind of seems almost a little wasteful to have a great actress like that as just kind of a one shot.
Well, and the character had so much depth too. I mean, if you look at recently created Star Wars characters, I have to say, I think that she has the most potential for really complex character development. I mean, she grew up an orphan on the streets, and then she got out, and then she became the assistant to a crime lord, and then a crime lord herself, kind of by taking out her boss. And then she wants to be a good guy, but she's stuck working under Darth Maul of all people. I mean, the whole thing is just so much depth there. So, I would definitely like to see her come back. Real quick, regarding the Razor Crest, Mediocre Modeler said in the chat room that Bandai and Round 2 Models will be releasing a Razor Crest Smile at the end of this year. That might have been a autocorrect. Razor Crest Model.
Razor Crest Model. He corrected it a couple posts
got
after, yeah.
Razor Crest Model at the end of this year. So, and I've never heard of Round 2 Models. But I've heard of Bandai. They seem to be good stuff. So, I'll pick up those and some super glue and, I don't know, tweezers or something to keep my hands steady. Not drink any caffeine that day, maybe, so I don't have that little twitch factor going. We'll see.
It's so interesting though that they did the Hasbro HasLab thing. Lego has done models. Bandai's doing a build, that kind of stuff. I mean, sure, there's obviously some popularity and it's a new, unique ship and all that kind of stuff. But you would kind of think that maybe like Lucasfilm would like whisper to these folks and say, hey, don't get attached.
Hush, Tim. Hush, Tim. Too soon.
We're going to blow it up.
Too soon.
It's going to go. It's going to be gone.
You know what? They can rebuild it.
From
new
what?
Material. I mean, I'm no dummy. It's not going to be the same molecules or anything, but I mean, they can build a new Razor Crest. They just got the thing fixed too. That's the thing that. All right. Anyway,
there are other models of the Razor Crest out there.
It's not a unique ship.
They did say it's a fairly rare ship, but there are some others out there. It's like, you're going to drive a Chevy Tahoe and it gets wrecked. You can get another one. It's not the only one out there.
I would cry a lot less about losing a Chevy Tahoe than I think I would the Razor Crest. So,
well, true.
All right. Kenobi news or rumors, not news at all. Rumors. So this is about, who, an antagonist that may appear in the Kenobi series. So if you don't want to hear about this, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We will see you again next week. If you're listening live, check back in a few minutes. We're going to be doing random chatter, but I don't consider this a big spoiler because here's the thing. If it's not true, it's not going to matter. And if it is true, you're going to see it the first teaser probably they release or a trailer. Like this isn't going to be some secret where you're going to see it on screen the first time and go, oh, like they're going to have to include it in the marketing material. Okay. So I am not looking at this.
They'll be casting announcements.
Yeah. This is going to be in the promotional stuff, in my opinion. Okay. So don't sweat it. This is from makingstarwars.net. I know some people love them. Some people hate them. Some people are in between. Take that for however you will. I have found that of all of the never perfect rumor sites out there, because none of them are perfect, they do okay with their accuracy on things. That's my opinion. That's from what I've monitored through the sequel trilogy, etc. Again, take it for what you will. But there have been a few sources now that have reported that we are going to see at least one Inquisitor show up in Kenobi, and that, as has been suspected for a while, Obi-Wan will be off planet. I believe the confrontation with the Inquisitor is off planet. So we do not know anything about the Inquisitor or, which one it might be. Is it one that we've seen before? Because we saw some in the Jedi Fallen Order video game. We've seen some in Rebels, etc. So we don't really know, is this going to be one we have seen before or haven't seen before? And we don't know if it's just going to be one or if it's going to be several of them. We don't know whether they're going to be the main antagonist or not. I'm guessing probably not. And then Jason Ward said there's one other thing that he's waiting to to get more sources to confirm this other thing, but he's got another big reveal about Kenobi he might be dropping soon, assuming he gets the confirmation on it. So, I don't know. What do you think? If we do see Inquisitors in Kenobi, I mean, that's a good excuse to be able to have lightsaber duels that don't involve Darth Maul, because we've already seen that in Rebels, and don't involve Darth Vader, because that would kind of destroy canon a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So this is good, right? We get to see Kenobi using a lightsaber in about the only canonical way that would make sense.
Yeah. And you know, plot wise, it totally makes sense to me. And obviously Inquisitors would be out there hunting these, you know, rogue Jedi. So it totally makes sense to me. I mean, we do know that we are going to see Anakin / Vader.
Yeah.
Don't know if it's going to be a flashback, if it's going to be a storyline that is paralleling something with Obi-Wan and they're not actually intersecting.
Right. It could be him dispatching the Inquisitor to go get Obi-Wan. Like, he might be in the show, but they might not meet in the show.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
And you know, we also know that it really doesn't seem that in A New Hope that Vader was surprised that Kenobi was alive. There was no like, holy crap, I thought you were dead. It was, oh, look who finally came around.
Yeah. A presence he hasn't felt since... ... and leaves the room.
So, I mean...
Yeah, good way to finish your sentences there.
That's kind of the impression that we're given. Mm-hmm. So I think it's ambivalent enough that they could very easily, I say retcon, but it's really not even a retcon because it's not changing anything, where they could say, oh yeah, he knew Obi-Wan was around. He just didn't know where the heck he was.
Yeah, it would make sense. Joe in the chat room, I'm paraphrasing this here. Tim, what do you think the chances are, A, that Kenobi will chop somebody's arm off, and then B, because this is a thing, that it'll happen in a bar?
I mean, it's Star Wars.
Prequels, chopped an arm off.
It pretty much has.
Yeah, original trilogy.
It pretty much has to happen.
You got to do it.
I mean, if it doesn't happen, you know, I might actually take to change.org.
Yeah, we'll be up in arms.
See, well, arm.
I did the arm. We'll be up in arm. Yeah. Well, no, because we'll have both, right, so it'll be plural. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Force Chatter. Be sure to check in next Sunday. Are we doing one next Sunday? I guess we are. I'll be at a remote location. I will be at a secret facility deep in the reaches of the North.
That will look mysteriously like
very
my
similar
place.
To his stuff there. Yeah. All right. So be sure to check in next week. Now, I don't know if we're going to do it live or not. It might just be audio. We'll see. I'll see what I can whip up. But either way, we will be bringing you more Force Chatter on the condition that something actually happened Star Wars related.
And if it doesn't, we're just going to get together and talk about it. We're just going to
wing it. Yep. Not why wing it, but like interesting wing it.
If Tom joins us, we might why wing it.
If Tom joins and wants to talk about why wings, yeah, we'll throw down. Yeah.
I'd moderate that discussion.
And I get the whole warthog argument, but I'd rather have a warthog than a Y-wing. So put the warthog out there. That's fine too. Just saying. Anyway. All right.
I'll take a B-wing any day.
I'm with you there. You know, that reminds me, I got to get back into squadrons because I haven't played since they came out with the B-wing. And you know, the virtual reality squadrons thing.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. So anyway, if you're watching this live, stick around. In a few minutes, we are going to be back with Random Chatter. We're going to do a quick review show, and then we've got lightning round stuff. And otherwise, tune in Tuesday night. I think we are still on schedule to do movie chatter. And that's going to do it for this episode. So until next time, take care.